Hey Bubba, I know you and Zaire have a pretty close relationship. What has it been like to see him develop from the special teamer you knew, early on to now being one of the, premier linebackers, I'd imagine, in the NFL as far as tackles and making plays?
It was funny. Me and Z had a conversation last week, and I said, "You might be the first ever special teams captain to be chosen for the Pro Bowl." I think that he's had that good of a year defensively. Obviously, it stinks that I don't have as much availability for him. He plays on our punt unit and then some other situational things. But just a tremendous leader, great person, hard worker, sets the tempo for us, for our whole team. I would say, he's probably the best leader we have on this entire team. So just a great person.
Nate Atkins.
Recently, Isaiah Rogers shared that he had a conversation with you about maybe switching up at giving Dallas Flowers a shot at kick returner, and then he's obviously kind of broken out since then. So, just can you kind of relay what that process was like of making that transition and how Dallas has handled it?
So we wanted to get Dallas involved as the season's gone along here. Obviously, he's talented, has tremendous ball skills. I give Isaiah a little bit of credit, not all to him, but I know our scouting department did a great job of obviously acquiring Dallas, and I know Chris and I saw him in the spring. So it's been a good thing for him to be able to get opportunities and take advantage of them. And we've done a good job of being able to, I guess you could say, block pretty well for him on those units.
Kevin Bowen.
Hey, Bubba, I've got two. Why do you think some special teams coaches, and this is league wide, I guess, have gone on to been successful head coaches? Like, what is it about your guys' role that you think makes that kind of a good background to have?
Well, we're involved with the entire roster. So I would say me specifically, I feel like I'm in tune with both the offense, defense, because I coach the field goal and field goal block units. So I know all the personnel, I know all the players pretty well. They're all in my meetings every week. And I have pretty good relationships with all of those players. So I feel like relative to the offensive coordinator or the defensive coordinator, I actually have, those guys in my meetings with installs and, as the season goes along in training camp and all that, I have those guys around me and, I coach all of them the entire season. So.
And is it a goal for you to be a head coach one day in the NFL?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do aspire to be a head coach at some point whenever the time is right, in the right situation and wherever that may be. So yeah, I do aspire to be a head coach at some point.
JJ.
Hey Bubba, starting around week 6, Nick Cross has become kind of a core special teamer on your special teams units. What have you seen out of him, and how has he kind of taken to that role?
Yeah, so Nick's development's been was a little slower, I would say. In training camp, he was working more defensively, so he was getting less reps in the kicking game. Had really penciled him in to be more of a 1 to 2 phase player for me. And then as his role lessened defensively, he's kind of had to come along faster and put in more time in the film room, and then get even more of the installs and the technique work on the side. I think it's a tribute to him and his hard work that he's done a pretty good job. There's definitely been a handful of growing pains because he didn't get the techniques and those types of reps early in the process. But I would say over the last few weeks, he's improved a lot. I think that early in the season on our punt unit, his footwork wasn't great. The technique, the strike, all those things were just lacking, I would say, to a degree. And he's definitely improved in a lot of those areas as of late.
I'm just curious with the new guys who have been on your units, whether it's been, Grant, JoJo, some of those guys, Tony Brown. Just how has that process gone of assimilating them into, how you want things done and producing them on the field?
I had a conversation again with Zaire and EJ last week. And, this is a completely different unit than we've had since I've been here in 18 with, as far as relative to the big four, kickoff, kick return, punt return. And all these newer players had to learn and rep to get on our same page and understand how we're playing our techniques, how we're playing our fundamentals, in every single phase, every single day. So I feel like, with the reps, we've improved. You can see our kickoff coverage has been better, and the return game has elevated. So I think those guys have become more comfortable with what we're doing, and obviously practicing better. And you take the practice, corrections and apply them to the game, and we've had good results.
Go a few more here. Mike Chappell.
But you guys had history with Chase. Is he just dialed in now? I mean, it seems like there's really not a lot of question when he goes out there that you're going to have success. How do you look at him?
He's done a good job, Chase. He's done a good job. When we had him, and when he finished out in 19, he finished 11-12, I want to say. He and Rod competed, obviously, the next camp. We obviously went on with Rod, but, now that he's back, he's been super consistent. That's what you want out of that position. Consistent, has been hitting a clean ball. He's finished well. He's a hard worker. He's easy to deal with. He does a good job of, I would say, not letting bad kicks compound. So when he misses a kick, he understands how and why he missed it. So he's done a good job, and in a tribute to Luke and Matt for working, to get that operation consistent.
When you get down to the end of the game, sneak or long field goal, your input is that, hey, I feel good that the decision was made, but do you sort of say, hey, my guy, if you go that way, we're confident that he's going to come through?
I can say this. I was standing right next to Jeff whenever he made the decision to sneak it. If you would have asked me what to do, I would have snuck it as well. 4th and an inch, I'm sneaking the ball. 54-yard field goal is not a gimme. I don't care if the conditions, if you're inside or outside, whatever you want to call it. A kick over 50, generally speaking, is like a 50%. So, we've obviously hit higher than 50% from that distance this season. Chase has done a tremendous job. He's done a great job at it. But, in that situation at the end of the game, I'm sneaking at 4th and an inch too. So I think that was a great call. And I think I would have done the same thing again.
James Boyd.
Hey, Bubba, just one more quick one about Zaire, because I talked to other coaches and players on the team, and they were saying, like, he hasn't changed throughout the years, like as far as leadership and stuff, but how has he changed in a sense? Like, and then what's that balance of just seeing him be the same guy, but also be, I guess, more in a sense?
You're speaking about Zaire?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think depending on your role on the team, whether you're a special teams only guy or, a special teams player that's a backup, like Zaire was at one point. And I think the more opportunities you get to play on offense or defense, and when you make plays, right, when you make plays and you play with a certain type of play style and you set an example every day on how you come to work and prepare, like he does, like it's the things that you guys don't see that he does that he does so well is he's in every single meeting. He asks great questions. He works hard. He finishes. He practices hard. He's physical. He's tough. He doesn't miss time. He fights through injuries. Like those things to me are the things that set him apart from other types of players. It's not just the vocal leadership. It's the toughness, grinding it out, right? I feel like nowadays you see too many players that are willing to just sit out and not push through things for the betterment of the team. He's not like that. He'll put the team on his back, and I think that his mental and physical toughness set him apart from other players.
We'll go last one here, Joel Erickson.
Hey, Bubba, you mentioned, you do want to be a head coach. I remember when we talked to Flus about this, he kind of said that he would take time during the offseason, prepare for it. What do you do outside of, your coaching duties to prepare for that eventuality or that possibility?
I've done a number of things with people outside the building. I have an agent, and I've talked to, even guys like Bill Poley and things like that. So, look, my focus right now, honestly, is finding a way to beat the Chargers and to make some plays against that team. So I'm not really looking into all that stuff right now. I'm focused on finishing this season out well and hoping my units can contribute to some wins.